Okay, and not content with overwhelming my brain with the genre that is FPS, I decided to get aggressively into card games.
Oh, oh, okay.
I have decided to start messing around with and playing Aska R. Kreutz, the gear maker in Guilty Gear Strive.
Oh, you fucking piece of shit. Oh, you fucking motherfucker.
Where's the lie? Where's the lie?
Oh, that's good. That's good. You got everybody. You got everybody with that.
He is absolutely a fucking card game, man. And here's why. Here's how I can prove it to you. Because I played, me and Reggie were messing around, and then afterwards I kept playing, and I'm spending more time. There are entire rounds where I don't look at the game. I just look at my deck. I swear to God, my eyes are on the bottom left corner of the screen, looking at my hand and my magic, and the game happening is peripheral. I've never felt this way in a fighting game before. I have the feelings this character brings out are insanity. It has never been like this.
Sounds like you're ready to play Red Mage.
What's that like?
It's exactly what you just described.
Oh.
Like, I gotta watch my fucking hotbar for my procs. I know, I don't have time to follow the fight.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. You're in your own world. You're playing a different game over here, which is so fun that, like, it's literally part of the character is, like, the intro. He walks in, and then person talks some shit or says their lines. You know, mankind knew that they could not change society, yada, yada, yada. Rah, I'm going to fucking get you. And then he's like, oh, sorry, can you say that again? I was calculating my percentage of chance of winning this fight. Or I was doing, like, he's literally not paying attention to the shit talk coming at him because he's looking at the fucking books, you know? And yeah, so like you actually are just you're looking at the spells, the cards you got, what's on cooldown, what's coming back, where your mana's at.
You're sick.
Right? And then the interactions they have with each other. And like, then he has 3 decks to switch between. And like, just learning one deck is getting maximum is like.
I feel like he's I think I said this last time too. We talked about him, but I think Asuka is like the natural end result of Arxis going, every character is a system in and of themselves.
Yes, and also every character is an homage to a genre, right? So that's the thing, is he comes in as the homage to card games, and they do it the most justice they possibly could. I will say that overwhelming, crushing weight that you're feeling of trying to put it all together is fun. It is fun to do, right? Because when I do manage to get that round out or two where I'm like I'm barely winning right now. I'm getting annihilated by anybody who knows what they're doing. Especially like the stream was rough, and then I learned a lot more afterwards and kept messing around. But it's so hard to really.
It seems like the kind of character that would have a fairly extreme learning curve.
And yet, the funniest thing about it is when you go to the character select screen and highlight him, it says difficulty of use 1 star.
That's bullshit. That's lies. Is that just a lie? Is that like a joke?
I think it's a joke. I think they're legitimately just like joking and lying to the player. It says he's 1 star difficulty. It's insanity, right? And it's like, oh,
that's really
right. And what's the logic? Like, oh, just do Hadoken and you'll do his spells. It's not that hard.
Oh, okay. I get the logic. It's lies.
He's easy to use. No problem. Is 1 star the hardest and 5 is the easiest?
Oh, if that's the case, then that is not what I really. That seems stupid.
I thought that it was. Yeah, I thought you rate it according to 5 stars means holy shit, that's really hard. It's okay.
Ease of use. Okay. So 5 stars is the most ease of use. That is. Come on.
Yeah, okay. It's backwards. So you know what it is? It's like when you win, and instead of gaining a round icon, you lose one of your 2 hearts.
Yeah.
Right? That's another strivism, is to like show you like it's not that I want around. It's that you have 2 lives and I took one away. So it's just a kind of reverse thinking on it. Okay, well I guess that makes more sense then. I was just like, what is this troll? Yeah, the fucking wildest thing is like you pick him up and you go to the character the move list, and then he's got his move list, and then there's a separate tab which is just here's all the cards and what they do. And you're like, let's learn the 30 cards in the deck that we got to rotate through and such. And then like you don't, it's already just getting the hang of like your deck and playing it and how they play with each other and keeping track of your mana in addition to your card restocking and everything in the middle of the fight is so much. And whenever you hit that ceiling where you're like, I have mastered this, I'm pretty good to go, I know how to manage it all, it's like, great, there's 2 more decks you can switch to, and each of those decks has separate cards in them.
Wait, I'm sorry. When you started to say you start looking over the 30 decks, I thought you meant 3 decks of 10.
No, you have 3 decks of 30 cards. And they're different configurations, some of which include cards that are not in deck B or C. Some are common. So you can literally switch between 3 styles of card character for your preference. It's not just it's not just the full.
Don't do that. Just stop.
They wanted to introduce a card character, but they wanted to also introduce like multiple card characters in one, and so that's what you get. It's insane because deck C is like trickier. It has teleports in it. It has some stuff that is like purely like luck based. You'll draw a card that'll be like, okay, this card just makes it so that the next ability you do is recycled. You don't discard it. This one has a 5-second timer on it. So the moment you draw this card, you see 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you wait to use it when it's down to 1, it'll be powered up. But sometimes it'll be weaker. So sometimes you want to use it faster.
I'm gonna throw up.
Right? This card means don't use it until you're near the end of your hand. Right? When you're low, this card gets more powerful before you reshuffle it all in. It's so crazy.
I'm gonna barf. It's too much.
And then don't even get started on the staff cards, which are all like modifiers that affect the way the spells come out and the arcs they travel in. There's like gravity drops low, gravity high, speed up my fireballs, slow down my fireballs, so like orbit the screen.
Shut up.
And then you're looking at all these types of spell casts, all these types of orbs and projectiles, all these types of staffs, and then your super, which is also susceptible to the staff manipulation. And sometimes when you're like, okay, fuck this, I need to just put it all, you're just like, okay, never mind. I'm spending a super to just shuffle. I'm going to press buttons to shuffle through my deck, and every button you tap just shuffles that slot. So you can literally just be like, I want that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Okay, great. Resume. Where were we? And it's like, it's legitimately a great usage of your meter.
I see somebody making a joke about legalizing nuclear bombs in the chat, and I'm like, you are playing as the Shadow Wizard Money Gang.
Actually, factually. Legit. Tossing my orbs out, and I mean, I love the idea, like, because as Reggie was putting it, it's just like, yo, okay, so you're playing your fucking Unga ass Nago, and then you're like, yeah, but hold on a minute, I got a secondary, I got a pocket gear maker that I'm busting out. What are you gonna say about that?
Can you rewind a second? I am in awe at the total impenetrability of the sentence you just said with your mouth. You're out here playing your Unga ass Nago, and I'm over here pulling out my second. What the fuck are you talking about?
I have an Unga ass Nago, and now my secondary is to pull out a pocket gear maker. What are you gonna say to that? And Max is like, yeah, I can see it. It's true. It's true.
You're just saying fucking words.
Did you see? I don't know if you saw Maximilian.
I
tweet.
did see
yeah,
it.
Yeah. Just what it looks like for when normal people see. This is. I mean, look. For 10 years, people have been like, "Well, Willie, what the fuck is he saying with the fighting game words?" I'm maining Nago Ryuki. He's a very aggressive.
He's very gorilla.
He's very gorilla. To be gorilla means to rush you down with one brain cell and go in and spin and go hard and then pop my blood or don't pop my blood. Hopefully not. And just get you. Get in your ass and get you dead before you do anything. Right? Very, very simple game plan. However, to switch to a character whose game plan is so insane, 2000 IQ, is the complete opposite character of the main that I have. There's nothing in common with these two. Whatever top shit you have about the first will not apply to the second.
This whole dichotomy between your two character choices is like, at the meetup, how many drinks have I had? Am I at 0 to 3 drinks? It's Asuka time. Is it 4 or more drinks? It's time for Nago.
One thing that is pretty funny to see, though, is just messing around online with him. Again, losing brutally, getting my face stomped in while I'm head in a book. Is the amount of people that like are like, especially like really good players that like at start when your spells are up and your mana's full, they're like, they're like even like the most
I don't know what is going to happen.
I'm scared. I'm approaching cautiously. Like even Soul, bad guy, who's all about rushing your face down and just being nonsense, is kind of just being cautious while approaching. And then when my cards are out and my mana is low, it's like, okay, get him. Don't let him live. Don't let him up. Stop him out, you know? At which point I have to do something desperate to try and get my cards back. But there's that little fear of like what you could be doing if you had the character under your control properly. You know, like the things that they must have seen when really good Asuka players are actually using him. And like from watching replays, it's unbelievable because you see people like land a counter hit and then look at their hand and go, okay, got it. I can improvise with these 3 cards into a juggle that'll do a wall
Adapt
splat.
Has never been required to be faster.
And that combo that was improvised all the way to the wall and then wall break, the next 4 cards you get, completely different setup. You can't do that anymore. You got to do something else.
And then all the way at the other end of that fucking bell curve is I'm just hitting buttons, man. I don't
mm-hmm. Yeah. It's easy to. This is the hardest video fighting game character that's ever been made. Easy. Like there's no discussion about it, and it's hilarious. But I love the idea of actually attempting to climb this mountain. So I'm fucking around with it. You know, it took a minute because Strive updates were coming, and there's a lot of good games to play. But coming back around now, you know, and you know what too? Like I also, just for the hell of it, like so Reggie was playing Johnny, picked him up pretty straightforward and had a good time. I played Elfelt just blind without just, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, what does what? Okay, got it, good. And they're like, oh yeah, easy, fine. Do the high, do the low, do the high, do the low, do the big one. Shoot the gun, hit him with your butt. Do the command grab. Yeah. And then
that sounds right.
Right? And then her win pose is one of the best win poses ever, where she does the death metal growl.
It's very Cell.
Thanks for watching. You know, it's great. So real simple, real basic. You know, yep, got it, good. But I just, I want to climb this mountain a little bit. I want to have a even if I'm not decent with him, I just want to know how the character works and be able to say that, like, okay, I get it. I get what you're supposed to do. And I'm starting to see the code. I'm starting to see the backyard.
Are you?
A little bit. Because I can tell, like, well, first of all, I know what maybe 80%, I can recognize 80% of the cards and, like, get the application on site, and I can put together how to combo with at least 2 of them via like getting a first touch, using it, and then extending into another one, you know. So I have the formations of a game plan, you know. My brain is getting a wrinkle from using him. But if anyone like I like, if you just want to experience what it's like to play a game while playing a game, and like the game you're playing down here has a more important outcome than the game you're playing up here, where the person fighting against you, you're just like, yeah, leave me alone. I have to make sure I shuffle. I have to, what? Oh shit, okay, I gotta
fucking integrating
All right, here
Henry
you go.
Hatsworth into fucking fighting games.
I mean, like, there's a point you get to when your mana's low and you have 3 ways to refill it. And you have to, like, you can just autopilot if you want to be like, do my mana refill. But you have to choose what resource you're sacrificing. Because the 3 ways to refill your mana are, you can use your, like, super meter, you could use your life bar, or you can just do the slow one that uses neither, but it takes extra long.
Mm-hmm.
And to decide that means to check all of 3 and decide on the fly which makes the most sense, you know? But what feels really good when you're using him is you see these awesome animations, which I've also loved, like the modern day mage design with like a spell book and like updated clothing. I've talked about this. I've seen this kind of character design.
He got his little cat ears off, right?
Yeah, and he's got the J's and he's got the fucking. I love modern mage with a book. Like, that's such a cool look, and he's got that going. And what's awesome is when you see cast a spell, then do the page reset. So cast a spell, restock the bullet, and then charge a little bit of mana back. And you can do that all in one sequence. You can do cast, refill, charge, and then it's like and you just see the character going from the different animations, and it's a very gun, trick, sword kind of vibe to it as you're doing all 3 every time you do one thing. You know, it's a manual, fire the gun, reload the bullet, and then click it back into place, you know, each time you shoot. And that's a little fun feedback.
Where do you fall on, like, you know, if I don't know what I'm doing, how can they know what I'm doing? Like, where does that factor in?
I mean, it factors in that, like, as long as you're out of bullets, as long as you're out of spells, they're coming at you. And when your spells are up, they have reason to be afraid. That's the simplicity of it.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Right? And when they start to know you a little bit, they can recognize, he's got the icicle. And the icicle means he has a Shoryuken.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have a Shoryuken if I don't have an icicle. You know?
Yeah.
And if I've got the black orb, it means I have a long range overhead. But if you don't see the black orb, then I don't have a long range overhead, so you don't have to worry about when you're crouching. You know? So if they start to learn what those cards are, it'll get a lot harder for sure. You know, but for now, it's just, does he have cards? Yes. Be cautious. Is he out? Stomp the nerd. Shove him in a locker. That's it.
Rush the wizard. Got it.
Yeah. And of course, as you can imagine, because this is literally that man, he has some great interactions and stuff with Saul, and a lot of the dialogue is fun between them. And the fact too, as well, that like you can pick alternate versions of him on the character select screen, because there's the real version, and then there's a magic clone he created from the story mode, and they both have different dialogue options as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
It makes sense when you watch the Strive story as to like why that's there and what the point is. But it's essentially a canon in-game way to do what they used to do, which was you could load different recordings of old Guilty Gear voices in like Reload and Accent Core and stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, they would be like, hey, one version has Saul going gun flame, but the other one has him going gun flame, you know? So
I remember that. Yeah.
You can just load out A, B, or C depending on how you want it to sound. And like,
but now it's technically a different character.
It's you press up on the character, exactly. So it's an awesome thing for that. I've always been a huge fan of that in fighting games. I wish they do it more. Arc Sys is really the only ones that do it to that level. Street Fighter 4 had the story mode battles where they talk to each other, and there's a little bit of that going on in 5 and 6, but it's so minimal.
Listen, like hyper fighting, Street Fighter 2 hyper fighting is a great game, but Guile going Sonic Boom is dog shit compared to Sonic Boom.
Yeah.
Somersault is always the best.
I disagree. My favorite of all time is the big, giant, badass Sagat going, Tiger! Tiger!
Yeah, well, that's pretty. Well, you would with Sagat. You love Sagat.
Tiger! Uppercut! What a giant beast of a Muay Thai
9.5
fighter.
feet tall.
The Emperor of Muay Thai says, Tiger! Yeah. Tiger! Knee! Anyway, it's always fun. I Blaze Blue in particular has the one I remember. I mean, I'm sure I don't know if they kept it going, but after the initial game, Calamity Trigger, when Jin and Ragnar are fighting, he has moves replaced with like, "I'll never forgive you, Jin.
Right.
Die already." You know. Yeah. So Asuka is fucking wrinkling the brain. Lots of fun there.
Nah, man, when I play fighting games, I want my brain to fucking smooth out.
Yeah.
I want the end of Fooly Cooley to be happening up in my fucking dome.
Well, I regret to inform you that Potemkin has one new move. So
I'm out.
Yeah. Anyway, it is a unique experience, dude. Playing the game while you're playing the game. It is the closest thing. So back in the day, I made a bit about Street Fighter Cross Tekken in Fighterpedia, where it was like you can go to the auction shop while using the Pandora system to toil the earth for Zeddy, and the hostages are need to be rescued, right? But don't get caught in the pneumonia system, right? Like all of that was there, and I'm like, this is the closest we've ever gotten to that. Fighterpedia bit being a reality.
The original version of that joke was the fake Blaze Blue screenshot that Matt posted on NeoGaf like 11 years ago that people thought was real. But I look back at my mind's eye of that screenshot. I'm like, that screenshot doesn't have enough bars in it now.
And you know, and then the origin of the whole joke, sacrifice your partner for more time on the clock. Like that's literally what was the opening joke of that Cross Tekken episode, you know? So when you see this many systems, and it's like, I can't be focused on comboing you. I have to make sure that the jobs don't get closed down on the job board. And I have to make sure that my Zenny has a good value for trade-ins while I'm fighting you, you know? It was great. This is that feeling. This is absolutely that feeling of like, I'm not looking at the fight happening, but I'm still vaguely participating in it because from the corner of my eye, I saw Soul flash and then come flying this way. So I'm like, oh, he's doing an air dash. Okay, I should probably anti-air that. But I'm not looking away from my hand. Incredible. And once you put together Exodia, like I went to go. This is one thing that I definitely recommend too when you're picking up a character in a fighting game. Just go to the replays and just see what's possible. And I went to go watch a top level Asuka player and just to see what it looks like. And it's like, oh my god, okay.
So
yeah,
I feel like I have a flip side to that, which is very similar, which is not see what's possible, right? Because seeing what's possible can mean a lot of things. To me, it's like see what you have to be doing in order to play this character. Because to me, I look at this thing, I'm like, how does he know what cards to be playing? Oh, he just knows because he memorized them? Okay, on to Elfelt. Excuse me.
Yeah. You're memorizing the cards, and you're like, in this situation, this is the right call. That's it. And what I see happening is a fucking like cautious play with a normal looking hand, and then landing a stray hit, using all of those spells to like empty out onto the opponent, and then in the time that they're getting back up, switching to deck 3, doing a super, getting a hand of wild, crazy, amazing things that play with each other. And then by the end, he puts a staff down, he's shooting multiple orbs that fill the screen with bullshit, does a super so that the screen is cycling with bullshit that you can't get around, teleporting behind you so that you start getting hit by them, and then moving in to do a big explosion. Like, it's fucking nuts.
You've come a long way from juggling Sin's meat meter.
Right. If I know that this is not the end of development, but it feels like it should be the final character. This is
I feel like they're trying all sorts of weirdo shit with these characters. Like, I think back to that little tutorial they put out with what's his name? The big guy, the fat guy, the
Gold
the
Lewis?
cool name.
Dickinson.
Gold Lewis Dickinson, and the phrase "with this behemoth typhoon."
In this behemoth typhoon. Yeah.
And just like, how much value can we get out of one move?
But Gold Lewis represents a fighting game idea that should have existed infinity years ago, which is spin the stick in the direction that the character should spin their attack.
Yeah.
Right? I always loved how, Revengeance and even Raiden in MGS2 had the using the analog stick to aim the sword. And I love it in Fight Night when you're boxing and you do a curve to do a hook and an uppercut from down to up, So it's like motions that are like, yeah, I swing from here to here, and that's what you see on screen. Feels real cool. Really dope idea for that. Anyway, so that's going on in Strive.